This podcast is intended for mature audiences only. We explore topics surrounding sexuality, intimate relationships, and related subjects in an open and candid manner. Please be advised that we are not licensed marriage or sex therapists, and the content shared here is for entertainment and informational purposes only. If you are under 18 years of age or prefer not to engage with discussions about sex, relationships, or mature language, we strongly recommend that you refrain from listening further. However, if you are of legal age and comfortable with this content, we invite you to settle in and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond Monogamy. I'm Adam.
And I'm Pris, and today on our Wednesday Quickie, we are going to be reading a letter that we got from a listener.
That's right. It's very exciting. It's very exciting to get a letter from our listeners.
Was it?
Well, it was very exciting. I got the little you got mail. No,
Oh,
that's
nice.
AOL, right? That's
Yeah, not the same one.
called out on my shit. All right, here we go. Thank you so much for writing into us. Let me read this here. Here we go. Hi, Adam and Pris. First off, thank you both for the space you've created with Beyond Monogamy. Your honesty, vulnerability, and thoughtful conversations have been a real source of encouragement and perspective for us. We've been in the lifestyle for a few years now, and your podcast has helped us feel less alone in the complex but beautiful territory of non monogamy. We're writing because we're currently navigating a difficult crossroad in our journey. One of us, let's call them partner A, feels increasingly drawn toward exploring polyamory, building deeper, more individual connections outside of our primary relationship. The idea of emotional intimacy and separate, independent relationships feels authentic and fulfilling to them, even though they weren't initially looking for that.
Mm.
The other partner, partner B, is really struggling with this. They're comfortable with sharing experiences together, but the idea of one of us doing things independently without the other being present or involved creates a lot of anxiety and discomfort. It's not coming from a place of not trusting the other, but more from not being able to see what's happening and therefore feeling a loss of control or connection to the situation. There's a strong sense of wanting to be on the same page, in the same room, holding hands through the experience, so to speak. Partner B often ends up feeling like a third wheel when partner A starts to connect more deeply with someone else. It feels uneven, like we're not, quote, doing this together anymore, end quote. And that really hurts.
Mm.
We've had many conversations, some gentle and some hard, and we're trying to understand each other better without pushing either of us into something we can't emotionally handle. But we've not sure how to bridge this divide. It is possible for someone more couple centric to find peace within a relationship where the other person is leaning more polycentric. How do we navigate this with one person feeling abandoned and the other feeling constrained? We'd be deeply grateful for any thoughts, personal insights, or episode recommendations you might have that touch on situations like ours. Thank you for everything you do and for holding space for all of us figuring this out one conversation at a time.
Ooh,
Yeah,
been there.
that's a lot.
Been there, done that.
That is a lot to process.
I am partner B.
Totally.
You're partner A.
I am absolutely partner A.
Ugh.
I'm the little floaty guy. I'm floating away.
Little floaty guy. Well, okay, so started together. Doesn't feel like they're doing it together anymore because one's more poly pulling and the other one is not. Is the other one poly? Is the other one wanting to be poly?
I mean, it doesn't
Doesn't
really
really
say
say.
there, but I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
It's one of those
Okay, well,
things.
let's assume that the other one doesn't want to be poly. Let's say that. Let's do that. And
Yeah.
I think first off, take some time for yourself. It looks like maybe there's some miscommunication or someone is not communicating what they really want and how they really feel. No tiptoeing, people.
Yeah, no,
Don't
you really have to be
you have to be get your
over
balls,
communicating.
grab your balls and be like, "Look, this is what I want." So we've been there. We were poly for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, and, realistically, we had been in the lifestyle for a while, a good several years,
Mhm.
and then we just jumped headfirst into poly. We jumped headfirst the same way we jumped into swinging, actually, just
Yes,
all the way in,
someone
just
someone
all the
mentioned
way.
yeah, someone mentioned it to you, and we started looking into it, and you brought it up. So you brought up the conversation
I did.
of
I liked the idea,
yeah,
and, it just seemed very appealing to me.
yeah,
And I remember we would have all the conversations about it, and it's like, "Well, why do you wanna do this?" And, "We got into this together, and that's not gonna really be together. Are
yeah,
we gonna find somebody to date together?" And I was like, "Well, we can, but, if we can't, then we're gonna
yeah.
have to
And
explore separately."
I I I did it more for you, for sure.
Yeah.
I dealt with my feelings, I dealt with my insecurities, I dealt with my jealousy.
And not only that, but you had to put on for lack of a better word, a fake persona
Yeah,
to make it seem like you were enjoying it for
yeah,
me,
yes,
like you were legitimately
yeah,
enjoying it, because
yeah,
I didn't know
that
that
I
you
didn't want
didn't like it.
no,
I knew you made it difficult,
yes,
but I also know that you're difficult,
yes.
you know?
And
And
I'm a
s
very, territorial person.
You are, and you're very bratty,
Yes.
and so that's just the kind of personality you are.
Oh, man, the brattiness came out even
Oh,
more.
man,
Yeah,
big time,
yeah,
because it's like, well, that's mine.
yeah. So, that was the only thing that oh, man,
That was a rough one.
those were hard.
Yeah, those were hard days. Well, you were also going through menopause at the same time,
Yeah,
and we were apart. We were, like, literally 3 hours away from each
yeah,
other
it's for 6
for
months.
6 months. Yeah, that was a
And,
rough one.
you know, it takes a lot. It's hard when one partner wants something different. I definitely think the communication, where did it kinda stray? Was it this person is talking to somebody and feelings came up and now they wanna be poly? Or, there's different scenarios, like, did A already have a conversation going on with somebody or already have a friend that they were interested in, and it kind of is now evolving?
I think I mean, speaking for myself, the situations that I've always been in, it's always been like an organic thing.
Okay.
Like, you don't go looking for it.
It just
It just
happens.
happens, you get involved with somebody or whatever,
Yeah.
or there's just a certain kind of vibe, and it's just like, "Oh, shit. This is somebody I wanna connect with," that
Yeah.
sorta thing.
Yeah. You still get that sometimes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm like, "Don't tell me about it. We're good."
Yeah, that's how you handle it now,
Yeah.
you're like,
I'm like,
"Yeah,
"Mm-mm, don't tell
I'm
me about it.
good.
Yeah, we're
I'm
good.
alright.
That your little
You
feeling will fade soon."
you can
So,
keep that
yeah.
shit to yourself."
Tuck that
Uh,
shit in.
well, and, that's the thing about it is as a as a partner A over here,
Yeah.
I had to learn how to exactly what you say, tuck that shit back.
Yeah.
There was a lot of factors that came into play. I had to figure out just how much you were my priority, which I always knew you were my
No,
number
I
one
understand. I
priority.
understand. Yeah.
But just as you were afraid to break the news that you didn't want to be poly anymore because you thought it was going to break us apart, I too had to question myself and say, is this something that I can walk away from?
Mhm.
When I asked myself that, though, I answered it very quickly.
Mhm.
And so there really wasn't a whole lot of difficulty making that decision when it was made. So when you said that you didn't want to be poly, I literally processed it for like 30 seconds. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
That's fine. Because I knew that it was something that I can put away
Mhm.
and I'll be fine. It's not gonna be the end of the world because my marriage is my number one
But did
priority.
you know that the whole time?
Yeah.
The whole time we were poly? Did
W
you know that were you okay with, like, not doing it in the very beginning? Like, I think
No,
no.
I would've struggled
Yeah.
toward so the it keep in mind that this had you came out with this we were 5 years in, and I had already seen how shitty excuse me, but I'm sorry. I am polycentric, I'm poly-minded, but my experiences in the poly lifestyle, they started off great.
Mhm.
It's that new relationship energy.
Yes.
You start off real excited, and this person's wanting me, and I'm wanting them, and we spend a lot of time together, and it's these hot makeout sessions and all this fun stuff, and it's all brand new. And then eventually, it becomes a relationship that you have to put work at. You have to put time in.
Mhm.
And maybe if you're single and you have a very simple job, sure, why not? You
Yeah.
can make it work. But as a married man who had 5 kids and I was very close to all of them, it was difficult sharing my time with somebody else as well as sharing my family money with somebody else
Yeah.
to take them out for their birthday, of which I I I only remember my kids and my wife's birthday, and that took some doing, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? So, that's really where I started to kind of question myself and go, "Well, if my relationship at home is great, and I really don't have to work that hard to keep it great,
Mhm.
why would I be jumping into a relationship with somebody else and trying to put forth all this work and stress and emotion and ups and downs and ruin my peace? You know, what am I doing? You
Yeah.
know? And so I ended up breaking up with my last girlfriend, and I was just like, "I'm sorry, but, this just isn't working out,"
Yeah.
and we broke it off. And then probably 2 weeks later, you had told me you seemed very happy when I broke it off.
Yeah.
You were happy, and I remember telling you about it, and you sounded very happy about it. But then, like, a day or 2 later, you were upset because you
Yeah.
saw that I was getting back on the apps, and I was making plans to meet up with somebody, and you were like, "Oh, really? You're gonna do this already? You just got out of a relationship?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah, what the hell?" And so, I think it was the buildup from that that kind of spilled over into the argument that we ended up having, and then you just came out with it,
Yeah.
that you didn't
Yeah.
wanna be poly anymore. And, it for me, it was never really a question so much as, it was like, if this comes up, I know that I wouldn't sacrifice my marriage for this
Mhm.
lifestyle. Like,
Mhm.
I may enjoy it, but I would never put my family or my relationship in the way of that. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
My relationship and my kids, I'm like, "You guys are my number 1, y'all are my everything."
Yeah.
And to me, once you said that you didn't wanna do that anymore, I was like, "Okay, well, fuck it." We always said that we would walk away from
From
things, and
anything.
that was
Yeah.
always the
That's
deal.
always the
That's
deal.
always the
Yeah.
deal, we just walk away.
I mean, I don't understand the third wheel because when we would meet people, I would just attach myself to you. I didn't care if you were meeting the girl or whatever. I'm just always on you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
that was
always
always
attached.
see, and
But I
but
do
that's where I get that, though.
yeah, that's where I understand, like, it is hard to see your partner that you love like somebody else because I guess that's where it was hard for me too, like, I didn't you like this person. Why did you like this person? I'm better than that person, like, how dare you like that person? So I had a lot of that,
Right,
right?
right.
And then, like, there's a lot of little jealous things that would come up. It's like,
Oh, I remember you
like,
telling me
"Oh,
you
you
were
have."
like, why are you into her? She looks nothing like me." And I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah. And a lot of you had a girlfriend, so it was the title. It was your
Yeah.
birthday, y'all were sharing little gifts.
Right, right.
Y'all shared little things that y'all liked together, which irked me.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, that's my brain does not work that way. My heart doesn't work that way. Okay. But I did have to get to that point. I had to get to a point where I had to get to a selfish point of I do not care what Adam has to say or what Adam wants right now. Priscilla is going to speak her mind. And however this ends up, I was prepared for it,
Yeah.
right? So it took a lot for me to, in the middle of a argument that had nothing to do with poly, to say, "I don't
Yeah.
wanna be poly," because I think that's where it was festering. I was holding that down. I was like, "I am done." I had to get to a point where I was done doing it for you,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to either see if that was gonna be something that you wanted to do, then I was gonna be out.
Right. Right.
And if this was gonna be something that you were gonna be okay with dropping, okay, so you said, "Yeah, let's drop it." But I still felt I felt bad.
And it took a while
It took a
before you
while.
realized that I was actually okay with it.
Yeah, I felt really bad, like I was holding you back from something, that I was not giving you something that you really, really wanted. But again, I had to be okay with that. I had to be okay with the decision you made by saying, "Okay," and the decision I made by saying, "I don't wanna do this anymore."
Right.
The outcome was exactly what I wanted, but it could have gone both ways?
It could have easily
And
gone either way.
so you have to have that uncomfortableness and be like, "Fuck it,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
You know,
Um, now tuck those feelings in, sir.
got to. Got to.
There's no
I do now.
romanticness, you know?
There's we had to kind of bounce back, once we stopped being poly, we kind of took a little break. We focused on each other for like a month
Mhm.
before we jumped back into the
Probably
lifestyle.
longer, no?
Probably longer. It
Yeah.
might have been a few months.
Yeah.
But then we jumped back into the lifestyle, and I wasn't certain how it was gonna go because I did enjoy making the connections and doing that sort of thing. Like, I enjoyed that aspect of poly,
Mhm.
but I didn't want the that heavy, heavy relationship portion. I just didn't want it. I didn't want it, you know? It's like, give me all the NRE all day long, but I don't want the relationship. Don't give me that. Like, leave that part at the
Yeah.
door. So I really needed like a mix and match kind of a la carte situation. And as we re entered the lifestyle, I remember having talks with you about how I realized I cannot get hard unless I have a connection with somebody.
Yeah.
And you were like, "Well, why do you have to connect with them?" And well, I don't know. I just can't. I feel like I need to. And, so I said, I'd really like to explore like a friends with benefits situation. And you weren't very keen on the idea, but you said, okay, we'll give it a shot, and of course everything is in theory until something comes up and then it's like, okay, we're actually doing this now.
Yeah.
And then kind of feelings change and then it's kind of, we're feeling this out. We're seeing how this goes. So it was difficult at first when we started doing that whole thing, but what I liked about it was that was your compromise, basically. That was your sacrifice giving to me, saying, like, I know that you're sacrificing this for
Yeah.
our relationship. I'll sacrifice this little bit to appease you here.
Yeah.
And it seemed like a really great compromise
Yeah.
because, I feel like it's working out. We both seem pretty
Y
satisfied.
you know, we're okay right now, we're good with having the uncomfortable conversations.
We've gotten used to it.
If I don't like something, if you don't like something, we talk about it. You and I are very different.
We are very different.
Um,
But we've learned to accept that
yes,
without judgment.
without any
And that
judgment.
that that took a little bit.
Mhm.
There was some stuff that we had to get past, but we've both learned to accept that, we are not the same
No,
in this journey. We
no.
have different wants, we have different likes, and we're just on two very different levels
Mhm.
when it comes to this. And to be able to come together as a powerhouse couple and still make it work, that's everything because
Yeah.
that takes some doing, man.
Yes, it
That
does.
takes some doing.
It takes a lot.
Yeah, and this it's always a it's always a work in progress. You and I are learning more about each other. We're learning more about ourselves, different experiences that we want to have and different things that we want to do and that sort of thing. And I don't know, I just feel like we couldn't have gotten here if it weren't for our experiences in poly. So there was some positive that came out of it, even though you're still kind of carrying on some trauma from having all of those bad times when we were poly. But I would say, there's a lot of different ways that partner A can introduce this if they want to make it work.
Yeah.
One of the things is understand that it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. If your partner is maybe slightly open to the idea, but still very uncomfortable with the idea, well, maybe just continue just having conversations about it, and
Mhm.
just let it be conversations until you guys are ready to take it up a little bit. Baby steps,
Yeah.
and eventually walk it down that way. And maybe you find somebody you're interested in and you can introduce that person to your partner and have that person involved.
So I will say that, like, partner B, if it's good with partner A pursuing, partner B needs to be involved.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yes, you're gonna poly solo or whatever y'all's dynamic is gonna be. Partner B has to always be involved. I just recently decided I don't always have to be the face. Like, I when we're poly, I wanted to meet the girls you were gonna
Uh,
date.
right.
There was no way you were gonna take my man out without me getting a feel for you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm still that way.
Yeah.
I'm very protective, I'm very territorial, so it's the little things, and maybe partner B needs that, needs
Well,
a little bit of
there are some people out there that prefer to disconnect and not know.
Mhm.
And, there
Yeah.
are people who
Yeah,
dig
there
that
are.
sort of thing.
Mhm.
I've actually talked to a few where they're like,
Mhm.
I don't wanna know." They can do their own thing, out of sight, out of mind, and when they come back to me, they come back to me, and that's it. Like, we
Yeah.
don't talk about it, nothing like
Yeah.
that. So there are some people that are like that.
I have moments like that.
I don't know how healthy it is,
Yeah.
but I come from a very I very much a big believer in over communication. So I feel like out of sight, out of mind, we're not gonna talk about it, that sort of thing. I just don't feel like it's that
Mm-mm.
healthy. I feel like sometimes you gotta talk about it, but, it's just one of those things where you have to kind of accept it.
Yes.
Accept that your partner feels this way,
And talk
on
through it.
both ends,
Yeah, on both ends,
You have
yeah.
to accept that your partner feels this
Mhm.
way. So, if you're partner A and you're feeling this way, you have to accept that that partner B doesn't,
Yeah.
and you have to respect that, and vice versa, and you just continue having the conversations. Now, if you feel like you cannot be in that relationship anymore, then I don't know. I kind of feel like if you feel that way, that may be a whole different story
It's a whole different
altogether. Yeah.
story. Yeah.
If you're not willing to walk away from the entire lifestyle for your partner, then they're not meant to be your primary partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now,
Reevaluate
not
your
to say they're
situation.
not meant to be your partner,
No.
but
Yeah.
maybe they're not meant to be your primary partner,
Yeah.
because your primary partner, you would say, "No, I kind of feel
Yeah.
like you're the
Yeah.
number one. You're the
And
number one
feelings get
priority."
hurt, not everybody sees eye to eye, especially
Yeah.
couples, like, we all want different things. It's compromise. You have to compromise, you have to know what's more important. Did I hurt your feelings when we stopped being poly? Probably, but it takes a bit to kind of just get over that and be like, "Okay, he's happy.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
happy.
here
We're
now,
here."
and we've gotten here because of that.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't recommend going that avenue just to be able to figure out this. I mean, if you wanna reach the point that we're at, just learn how to over communicate. We had to learn the hard way,
Yeah.
but do I f do I value the experiences I got through poly? Absolutely, but even I have trauma from it. I had bad experiences from it. And,
Mhm.
knowing that I was doing something and enjoying something that my wife was obviously not enjoying was very difficult too. Our communication was not good enough to where I knew that you didn't like it. I could
Mhm.
feel it from you,
Mhm.
but you weren't telling me that.
No.
And if you weren't going to tell me that, I wasn't going to shove the words in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's like if you really have a problem with this, then you need to tell me. And you would tell me, no, 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 it's all good. Everything's good. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I could feel that it was different, but I knew what you were telling me was different too.
Yeah.
Now, could I have easily fought to expose that, and
Mhm.
would the truth have come out? Absolutely, it could have, but I wasn't gonna do that,
Yeah.
you know? And so if our relationship had failed, I would have definitely been a big part of that
Yeah.
because I didn't communicate, and I should have, just like that, you know,
Yeah.
even though I had those feelings. And so realistically, the both of us just kind of really, even though I'm more polycentric and you're really not, we the way this works, it works out very well. And I
Yes.
think part of it works because A, I know that you're my number one priority.
Yeah.
And if I know that it'll make you happy that I don't do poly,
Mhm.
then that's reason enough. And then reason 2, which really makes it a lot easier, is the fact that I know the stresses of being in a poly relationship,
Yeah.
and knowing how difficult it is feeling the tug of somebody else taking up my time
Mhm.
and my effort and my energy.
Mhm.
It's exhausting being a friend to people when I have a full household.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then on top of all that, you're gonna add romance to it. I'm actually a pretty good husband to you, and I'm not the most romantic guy. Like, I don't buy you flowers
No.
all the time. I have before. I think I've learned that plants are your thing now.
Yes.
So but I don't do the romantic guy things that you
You
see
don't
on
do the
TVs.
typical romantic
You know,
that's yeah.
I'm not the greatest with that. And to know that I'd have to, like, I would not be able to buy a girlfriend flowers. Are you kidding me? I don't even get my wife flowers. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? And then we had all these rules like, well, you can't take her to Hana dancing.
Mhm.
You can't take her to the movies because it has to be a movie that I don't wanna see, and even then, I don't know, you better take me to a movie first.
Yeah.
You know, we had all of
You
these
can't
different
eat
rules.
at a
You can't eat at
restaurant
a restaurant that we've
we've
never
never
eaten at
tried.
together.
Yeah.
There was all sorts of rules, which really binded the hell out of me too. And, you know, I think a lot of stuff that happened, you really did your best to make it uncomfortable for me,
Yeah.
which, I mean, even if you didn't, it probably still would have been uncomfortable
Probably.
for me,
Yeah.
but you definitely helped out on that
I
part. Yeah,
did.
you definitely did a number on that one. And so that was difficulty, but, you know, I've learned how to live without it, and primarily because you've compromised with me, and you've let me explore, and we explore friends with benefits
Yes.
connections, you know, not all the time, but, you know, it's available to us. And I get to connect on levels that I like. I get to connect as a friend, and, you know, I love all my friends, and so I get to connect with my friends and get to have these moments with them one-on-one, that sort of thing,
Right.
and it doesn't have to affect anything. There's no romance in it. It's just a friends, "Hey, you wanna have some fun later?" or whatever,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And that's nice. It's nice to be able to explore that, and I feel like that's satisfying enough.
Yeah.
It scratches my itch. I'm good. I don't need anything else, you know? And so,
Yeah.
you know, I'm pretty satisfied with that. Plus, you and I in our journey, we're getting older and we're learning to experiment with different things, and we're
Yeah.
kind of opening up ourselves to new experiences.
Yeah.
We're evolving.
I mean, that's all it is. You guys are gonna have to take a little step back.
Yeah,
Take a
absolutely.
little step back and see what why did you start this journey? Where do you want it to take you? Where do you see it going?
Yeah,
You know, everyone does it differently. What works for one partner may not work for the other partner, but you have to compromise.
absolutely.
Um, it's just what it is, you know? Like there's a lot to talk about. Discuss it. Have those uncomfortable conversations. Have a little selfishness. Be involved. Talk.
Totally.
Talk, talk,
Absolutely.
talk.
Talk, communicate
Mhm.
100% until you've said everything, every little detail that you can think of. Say it all.
Mhm.
Totally. I think that's the greatest advice that you could give, and I would second that for sure. You definitely should take a little bit of time, focus on each other, and, the lifestyle's not going anywhere,
Nope.
and, you can dip in and dip out at your own leisure.
Mhm.
This is your life. This does not belong to anybody else's. This is your life, and so you should treat it as such. Take some time, focus on each other. So that's our consensus here. Thank you so much for writing to us. That was really, really cool. I loved that. And, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here because, it we gotta move along. We are busy, busy peeps.
Busy.
So thank you so much for listening. We appreciate everybody out there listening to us. That was really awesome getting that letter. If you feel like you want to share with us as well, that would be lovely because we'd love to hear from all of our listeners. If you have anything to say, by all means, you can reach out to us via email at beyondmonogamy4u@gmail.com. That's beyond monogamy, number 4, letter U @gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram. I believe we're on TikTok. So you're welcome to reach out to us in any of those fashions. If you actually find us on Facebook, you can actually, there's a link there that you can call us on the phone and you can leave us a voicemail, or you can use that number and you can text us.
Yep.
If you want to text us whatever you'd like us to talk about on the show, or if you have anything you want to say, you have anything you want us to share, just like this letter that we got just not too long ago.
Mhm.
So we appreciate that. We really hope we hear from the rest of you guys, all of y'all listening out there in the world. And we will talk to y'all next week.
Bye.